Hello and welcome to Support Small Business Saturday. I'm your host, Representative Chelsea Branham. So happy that you all are joining us for this episode. We've got a really special guest, Shane Pratt with the YWCA. And Shane, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Y, and then also a little bit about the specific YMCA that you are a part of.
All right, thank you for having me today. Really excited to share the opportunity about the YMCA. The YMCA of Greater Oklahoma City is officially, we're all the way from Chickasha, all the way to Stillwater, and in between. But I'm here at the Northside YMCA. I've worked for several YMCAs in my tenure, been with the Y just over 20 years. Starting part-time with the Y, starting right here at the Northside YMCA back in 2001. And so January of 2001 started with the Y and really got involved with the Y through my degree in kinesiology from UCO. Did my practicum here and have worked for several Ys within the YMCA of Greater Oklahoma City. Went out and worked at the Weatherford Y as their CEO for about 3 years. And am back here at what I would call my home Y for the last 3 years almost. Grew up on the south side of Oklahoma City, but have lived the majority of my adulthood on the north side of Oklahoma City. And so Oklahoma City is my town. And I love working for the YMCA. I'm blessed to be able to be working with people. And I'm blessed to be able to work within the same mission that I hold within my household is the same mission that the YMCA holds. And it's to put Christian principles into practice through programs that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all.
Wow, so it sounds like you've really been around the block with the Y and kind of been part of multiple pieces of the mission for a very long time. I'm sure that the Y and also the people that you serve really appreciate those contributions, and really excited to have you here today. But without further ado, we're going to jump into the questions and see how we can kind of dig in and support the Northside YMCA. So the first one is, what is the biggest hurdle that you've met in this current climate? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Lots of things are kind of switching to remote and virtual life. And so how have you all kind of coped, and what has been the biggest challenge for you all to overcome in that adaptation?
Yeah, so I'd say currently right now, it's been the decline in membership. Here, just at the Northside Y alone, right over 400 units have dropped off. I think association-wide, it's right around 7,000 that we've lost kind of since February. And so that's not a normal trend. And so we are down in membership, but along the whole time that the pandemic was going on, we were still providing emergency childcare to those essential workers. We immediately jumped in and started doing that. At some of our closer Ys, we were able to do it here a little bit later. But we jumped in, met that need right away, really started doing some of our classes virtually. But membership has probably been the most difficult part behind it, because that is our driver that really allows us as a 501c3 to be able to impact the community. With those membership dollars, we are able to provide programs within the community that, we're going to have to make those tough decisions. Are we going to be able to continue to do those programs? Putting people in beds, feeding kids, and that's all stuff that we do at the YMCA.
Wow, that is, I'm sure, something that is really challenging to overcome. And I know nonprofit funding is already tricky to begin with. And so I can't even imagine the decisions ahead of you all, but goodness gracious.
Yeah, and I would just add into that would be, some, we've only been running at about 50% on our membership side of things. And so um, here at Northside, we haven't had anything that has traced back to us. We've been blessed by that. We are disinfecting frequently. A lot of our members, even during exercise, are wearing masks, even though that is not a mandated time. But there are a lot of people that are, and they're choosing to do that. Um, but we're fogging, cleaning, and trying to stay as safe as possible during this time.
Well, and I will say that, everyone's having to kind of make calculated risks right now. And I think that physical fitness and exercise is something that's extremely important, not only to your general health, but can really help to keep your body in a place where you're less susceptible to picking things up, and or you react, in a better way when you do pick those things up, viruses and bacteria and that kind of thing. So certainly important for sure.
Yeah, and one thing here at the Northside Y that is unique to this Y that there's no other place in the state of Oklahoma that has it, and it's called eGym. It is a 10 pieces of equipment that is strength training. You get on that, you can go through it in about 20 minutes, and it is personalized for you. So all the levers adjust to your height. All of everything is calculated based on a strength test that you do to be able to see what weight you should be at. You don't have to pull and push the pin like you do in the past. It automatically sets that weight for you, and it puts you through a new strength test every 6 sessions. And so you're constantly building on your program, and we're the only place in the state of Oklahoma that has that right now. And so just want to make people aware of that.
Wow, that is definitely high tech. I am not used to that kind of equipment, but that sounds really great, and I'm very interested to see how that works. All right, so we're going to move to question number 2 here. What do you think businesses and organizations like the YMCA and the community can do to make sure that we kind of make it through this together, right? Because there are certainly individuals that have been impacted by unemployment and things like that because of the pandemic, or because of illness and things like that. But then also organizations are struggling to keep the doors open as well. So what can we do together to make it through this? And has there been anything that has helped you so far to kind of keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think you almost answered in your question there. We've got to come together. We've got to be together. We've got to help one another out. And we have had several of our corporate sponsors, corporate vendors that we use on a daily basis. They, right out of the gates, they jumped in. They said, what can we do to help? Some of them forgave bills right out of the gate. We didn't even really ask it, but they helped us there. I really think it's just us coming together. We provide a essential piece, I think, to kids and families to be able to, you think of something just so simple of a mom or a dad being able to bring their son or daughter to come and engage with other kids during a sport or during a swim lesson. They can do that here at the Y. And sometimes it gives that parent a little bit of a break. Yeah, maybe they can go work out during that time too. But sometimes maybe they just need to sit down and maybe read their Bible or read a book, or just sit there and do nothing sometimes because they need that peace of mind because they're having to provide for their child many more hours during this time. And so I really think it's just all of us coming together. And I think the one thing that I would say to let people know that we have is that we provide financial assistance. We go out into the community to raise funds every year to be able to support families that need the Y, that need childcare, that need swim lessons. We feed all of our kids during our childcare programs. Some kids might not get food unless they were in our day camp program or what we're about to kick off with our virtual learning. We start here at the Northside Y on August 31st. We will be doing the first 9 weeks of virtual camp. And so it'll look like YMCA summer day camp, but in the middle of it, we're going to be helping the kids log into their devices, help them with their homework, but yet we're still going to have some fun.
That is so fantastic, and I'm glad that you all are going to be a resource for kids in our community in House District 83, and glad that I know about that program because I didn't previously, and you all do great programming around kids, and absolutely that time that kids are there can be used as respite because we all know that there is a lot going on right now, and that's certainly needed sometimes. So that's fantastic. So that's a good segue into our last question before we kick it to you for a challenge. And that is, what have you experienced through this situation that gives you hope?
I would say there was a little while we had to close down, and believe it or not, I was the only one sitting in this building and coming to this building for a little while. Not a good experience, horrible experience. Our building was quiet. I didn't hear the laughter of kids. I didn't hear the laughter of families, the engaging conversations that we hear in our lobbies. People just talking about everyday life. That wasn't happening here within our walls. Even though during that time, we picked up the phone. All of our staff were making calls to the most vulnerable, our senior population, even while we were closed down, just checking on our senior members, seeing how they were doing. Once we made it through that list, we started calling all of our members. And so it was great because I was having my staff come back to report to me that they were talking to people for 10, 15 minutes, and they hadn't seen them. And so we're used to having that environment where people really connect with one another. And frankly, I missed that while we were closed. I didn't like coming to an empty building. And that really gives me hope that we were able to open back up. And I think that if we can all stick together during this time, I know we've heard it, wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance yourself, we can still thrive and be able to live our lives as long as we're doing those things. And I hope that people will continue to do that, and I challenge people to do that.
What a great message, and I echo that for sure. We've been encouraging those steps since the beginning of this situation, and so very happy to hear that you are as well. That concludes the questions, and now I'm going to kick it over to you. Is there a request or a challenge that you have for our community and for those that are listening?
Yeah, so I'd say there's several ways that you can get involved with the Y. One, obviously, we're a nonprofit charitable organization. We're ran by a corporate board. We're ran by councils at the branch. So here at the branch, we have councils, always looking for good people to serve on our council. Obviously, we provide financial assistance back to families that can't afford to come to the Y. And our need is there. We gave out, or we're going to give out, probably well over $370,000 this year just from the Northside YMCA. But unfortunately, our donations are this last year, we're probably only going to collect about 110 in direct contributions. And so we've got to pick up that and close that gap to be able to make sure that we are providing those services. And you know, our goal was 145,000 during our annual campaign this last year. We fell short of that. It wrapped up right when the pandemic hit us. And so we were already done with it, but you know, I think collections are down a little bit. And so if there is anybody out there that wants to support your local Y, we would love to get you involved on the volunteer side, even if it's just a sports coach, all the way to being a council member and serving your Y in that capacity, or financially. We also do have our association-wide golf tournament that's coming up right around the corner. You can get a little advertisement out there for your organization, get out and have a little fun golfing. And so if you're interested in supporting that way, we would love to get you connected through our annual golf tournament.
Well, that's fantastic. Sounds like there's lots of ways to get involved in upcoming outdoor activity, which I think a lot of people are moving towards. So some great opportunities there as well. I've really enjoyed our conversation here and really appreciate the work that you all are doing. I have spent a lot of my political and legislative capacity focusing on youth issues, and so really appreciate everything that you all are doing and continue to do to try to help meet the needs of children and youth during this time, whether that's education, childcare, sports. Really, really appreciate it. But also appreciate everyone for tuning in. And if you have questions, please feel free to put those in the comments or send them my direction. We will certainly be sharing the contact information for the Y and giving some information in the credits of how you can connect there. But Shane, as we wrap up here, are there any final kind of thoughts that you would like to leave our viewers with?
I mean, I think I said it all. Thank you. If you're a Y member or if you're a Y supporter, if you're interested in getting involved, we would love to get you involved. Blessed to be part of this community. We're blessed to serve this community and plan on doing it for many more years.
Well, what a great note to leave on. And I will not add much to it other than I also really love serving this community and very excited to be able to meet and interact with people like you, Shane, and also all the constituents. So until next time, this has been an episode of Small Business Saturday. Please support and see how you can help wrap your arms around our Northside YMCA. See you later.